What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the 10-7 MMA. I'm your boy, DS, and that is my guy. Nope, that is my guy, Dino Bam Bam. What's up, brother?
Chilling, man. That's an A for effort, DS. A for effort.
You know, I think because I'm trying something new here, if you guys haven't noticed, with the camera and whatnot. So I think now it's mirrored, before it wasn't mirrored. It's a whole thing. That's neither here nor there. We are, of course, here today to break down UFC 319, which is in our hometown here of Chicago, Illinois, of course. And man, we've been waiting for this one for a long time. Obviously, the main event is huge. We've got Dricus du Plessis. Khamzat is finally getting his title shot versus Dricus, so that's going to be a huge fight. But man, I mean, I know you already broke it down, so obviously you can kind of link that and let them know about the quick picks. But top to bottom, this is a pretty solid card, man.
Solid card. 14 fights, DS. We paid a lot of money to go to this goddamn card. So it's nice that we get a full slate. 14 is a lot. 2 Ultimate Fighter finales. We get a title fight at the end. Not just a title fight. Let's be honest, like a highly anticipated title fight. And while I don't necessarily love the co-main event, the card quality from the bottom to the top is better than most pay-per-views. So I'm down.
I agree. And with the year that we've had in the UFC, that's almost like all we can ask for. Obviously some huge news with the $7 billion deal. So moving forward, no more pay-per-views. Anyways, they will continue to do the number cards. Anything you want to say before we jump right into the full card breakdown of UFC 319?
Yeah, I guess just a little bit of the regular. Please like and subscribe. We're trying to hit that 2,000 mark. And then you can also follow us on Instagram at D107MMA, where we're going to have pictures with us and fighters from this card. DS, we are going to be at the Fighter Hotel this week for the next couple days. We're supposed to have an interview with Brian Battle and Tim Elliott. We'll see what happens there. But besides that, we're going to be seeing Tracy Cortez. We're going to probably be seeing DC and Beneil Dariush. We got a lot of people we're about to meet and greet. And if you want to see those fucking pictures, check us out on Instagram. One more thing, DS, I guess I'll say this. We're going to have more content coming out this week. A ton of content. A lot of it there on social media. A lot of it here. We're going to be doing the betting video with Harry from Pro Schmo Bets. If you guys watched, well, not if you guys watched, if you guys saw our Instagram, you'd see we've been doing shit with Dana Black. DS, Dana Black. That is massive in the MMA space. If you guys don't know about him.
I snoozed on that.
It's okay. We're going to do a ton of content with him. So
yeah, I'm pumped to do all that as well.
So yeah, let's just get into this, bro. 14 fights. I'm excited. I can't wait till Saturday while we're there. There's a lot of shit before then as well.
Yes, sir. All right, let's jump right into it. The first fight of 14 is going to be Alibi Idris. He's taking on Joseph Morales. This is, I believe, an Ultimate Fighter fight. Interesting way to get the card started. How do you see this fight going?
Yeah, Diaz, back-to-back Ultimate Fighter finales. Let's start with Alibi Idris. Comes in undefeated, right? 10-0, sharp striker, clean technique. He's a finisher, man, and he can finish fights in multiple ways. He's really goddamn dangerous early in fights. And when he finds his rhythm on the feet, man, he's nasty for a little guy. Great combinations. He's taking on Joseph Bopo Morales, a former UFC fighter. Went 1-2 in the promotion. Kind of got thrown to the Sharks while he was here. Won his first fight, lost his second fight, and they're like, you know what? Here you go. Future fucking Hall of Famer Davison Figueiredo. He, of course, gets knocked out by Figgy. Unfortunate, but he was young in his career. And, you know, now he's back, man. He worked his way through the Ultimate Fighter. Happy to see him back. I think Alibi is going to come out really goddamn hot, DS, but I think Joseph Morales' experience is going to hold it down for him. I think the second that Alibi gets to, if he slows down or if he makes one mistake, Joseph Morales is going to get that takedown. When he gets that takedown, he's a shark on the ground. He's going to find that RNC. So give me Bopo, Joseph Morales, round 2 RNC.
We're going to disagree off the bat, man. I'm going to go with the Deers here. I just respect the striking for the weight class. He's got some real power that we don't see very often. So, you know, Joseph Morales, this is his return to the UFC, right? He was here once before, you know, kind of, you know, nothing special. One thing I do want to mention about Alibi that I really do appreciate is oftentimes when we see these guys come from the Caucasus, right, and the Caucasus region, right, they usually kind of have a padded record, right? You see them take, you know, fighting a bunch of like 0-3 guys or 0-0 guys making their debut, you know, halfway into their amateur career, halfway into their pro career. This is not that, right? We've seen him, on the regional scene tested. He's actually fighting good competition, as good as the Kazakh competition can be, right? So for me, man, look, I've seen him put guys out. We just don't see that in the weight class at 125. So for me, I respect the grappling of Joseph Morales. I just don't know that he's going to get enough respect on the feet or initially off the bat where Idris is going to have to just worry about anything but just completely focus on defending that takedown. So I do expect a close fight here, man. Morales also, dude, one thing is like he just went to split decision with a 13-7 guy like 2 fights ago. So I don't know, man. I just don't see it. I don't love that we're disagreeing off the bat on this one. But I'm gonna go with the Idris by a decision victory here, man.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a close fight. These two were by far the best two in the division on the show. The first guy that Joseph Morales beat in the first episode, the Mexican guy, was also awesome, but it's going to be a fun fight to start the night. That's for sure.
Absolutely. All right. And then there was a fight that was literally just added, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And I got it up on the screen, baby.
Yeah. You want to go ahead and take that one?
Yeah. While you get your shit together. All right, guys. Rodrigo Senzanando versus Daniil Donchenko. Let's start with Rodrigo, man. Well-rounded fighter. He can mix his striking and his wrestling up smoothly. He's patient. He's composed. He's never a guy that's going to go out of his element and just fight like a super high-paced fight. And the problem with that is I've seen his cardio look pretty goddamn sus. That's kind of been the overarching thing that I've noticed, at least in his Ultimate Fighter fights. He is gritty. He is good. I'm very happy he beat the other Brazilian guy who was like the villain of the season, DS, the other Brazilian dude from the Fighting Nerds. I was happy he lost. He's taking on Daniil Donchenko, who, if you guys didn't know, was just in the last episode of the season here, got a nasty finish over the American fighter. I forget his name, but Daniil Donchenko is an absolutely disgusting striker. Diaz throws heavy, throws powerful as shit, and he's young, man. He's only 23. He's got like a little bit of Yuri Prohashka to him, like a little bit of wildness, aggressiveness. I wonder what the ceiling is for this guy, what the cap is. I don't know how high it is. I'd be interested to find out. Either way, I think Rodrigo's going to look early in this fight, similar to the last one, until he doesn't, right? Once he starts slowing down, I expect Daniil Donchenko to catch him with something big and just kind of start leading the round, catch him with something big, and end up getting a TKO. Give me Daniil Donchenko round 2 or 3. In the quick picks, I said 3. I might change it to 2.
Yeah. Do you see this as a classic grappler versus striker matchup?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I mean Rodrigo's not like just a grappler. His striking's okay. It's solid. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah, we've seen him get some finishes. Yeah, I just think ultimately, I agree with you on this one. I just think ultimately the striking and the power, especially early on. I mean, I think Donchenko has a very good chance early on. Mm-hmm. Is Cezinando going to be able to neutralize the striking early, get the fight to the ground? I mean, we'll see, right? This is a very young guy on the other side, so we haven't super seen him tested in the grappling because his striking is so damn good. But I think that's just kind of going to continue here. Give me the more explosive, powerful striker in this one. I'm going to go second round KO.
Yeah, and what's cool is Daniil Donchenko, a couple weeks ago when Robert Valentin was fighting, he was the one who walked Robert Valentin to the scale. He was in his corner. And right then I was like, I bet this fucking guy wins. Because if you don't end up winning the show and getting to the finals, where'd he get off showing up to the UFC and acting cool as fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. He's a young dude, though. You know? Sometimes, I mean, there's been times I've seen you act cool as fuck. So
hey,
when you had no business doing so. So
hey, look, all I'm saying, you're saying I'm acting cool, brother. I posted a story and Kendra Lust reposted it.
Yeah,
it don't get much cooler than that.
There was a time in your life where I'm sure that would have been crazy.
Shout out Jenna Hayes, man, OG.
Damn.
Now that we're getting into that realm,
dude, that's a deep cut. Jenna Hayes, wow. Hope she's doing all right, man.
Me too.
You see a lot of these ladies dying nowadays and shit. Like, God bless them. They've done us all a service in our private times. So. God bless them, and hope they're staying safe. All right, let's move on to the next fight, and it's the first women's fight of the night, which is Carini Silva. She is taking on Dione Barbosa.
What a transition!
Huh?
Said, what a transition into this fight. No, you go ahead, brother.
All right. No, hey, listen, man. I actually think this has the potential to be a pretty good women's fight. So, you say what you will. Last time out, man, we kind of saw Karine Silva get a little bit fraud checked, right? But at the end of the day, it's Viviane Araujo, and also it was a damn close fight, right? It kind of could have gone either way. Um, Araujo just put on the pace on her a little bit, right? Now Barbosa is just not as athletic as Viviane is, but she is what she is a big fucking girl, dude. She's like big and jacked. She's also very athletic. I think this is a tougher matchup than you think, right? I think when we initially see this on paper, you kind of expect Karine Silva to just steamroll her a little bit because she's such a badass, dude. She's just a goddamn badass. Both her and Natalia Silva, but Karine Silva's fucking ruthless with the submissions. She can pretty much get you submitted from anywhere on the ground. And she'll break your shit. She doesn't give a fuck. She will break your shit and then just get up and dance it off. Look, it's crazy, man. For me, I think this is just going to be kind of a levels to this shit fight because I know Dion Barbosa also has very good jiu-jitsu. I just don't see a world where she's going to test that. I don't see a world where she's going to let herself get or want to. I don't see her initiating the takedowns, getting Karine Silva to the ground. And then the other thing is, man, I just think Karine Silva is the better striker too. I really do. And this is no disrespect to Barbosa. I do think she has a place in the UFC. I think she's a good fighter. I just think that Silva, I mean, dude, she throws damn near as hard as Jessica Andrade, who we're going to talk about later, right? She throws like a dude. Like she throws fucking hard. She throws leg kicks. She throws head kicks. She throws hands. I mean, she uses all of her limbs. So, to me, I just think it's a levels to this shit kind of fight. I think we see Karine Silva get right in this one. I don't think Barbosa is going to be able to implement her game plan to the full extent of her desires. And I think we're going to see a second round submission for Karine Silva gets back to her finishing ways.
Yeah, DS. Look, I mean, I've been seeing a lot of people online picking Diani Barbosa. She's a very popular underdog this week. And for all the reasons you mentioned, I get it. Plus, you add on top of that, now I feel like Harry. But it's like on top of that, these women's fights that are early on the prelims, a lot of fishy ass decisions, right? You expect a lot of these to go to the judges. And when you leave it in the hands of the judges, we've seen, especially last week.
Those are parlay killers. They want to kill your parlay off the bat with some obscure ass fight.
That's what I'm saying, right? So, but I at the end of the day, I agree with you, man. I think Diani Barbosa is very tough. I think she's very good. She's gritty. She is awesome. She has finishing potential, but all of those things times 3 to Karine Silva. And I think the biggest difference is the fact that Karine Silva is going to be the one dictating where this fight takes place.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
It's going to take place where Absolutely. She wants it to, right? Yep. So I got to stick with her at the end of the day. Even though she is a finisher, I give Diani Barbosa respect for being tough. So I will say Karine Silva decision, but I'm with you, brother.
And I think you're a little cutie patootie. So
thank you. Appreciate that.
No problem, brother. All right. Yeah. Let's move on to the next fight. And this is quite a change of pace here. That's not necessarily true, right? I said this is going to be a pretty good women's fight, but the next fight is Nursultan Raziboyev. He's taking on Brian Battle. I was going to say Pooh Bear. That is no longer his nickname. He is now the Butcher.
Yeah, Brian.
So that talk about a change of vibe. I mean, the vibe has changed for sure. How do you see this fight going?
Yeah, look, DS, first and foremost, Brian Battle, who we may or may not be meeting up with. He's told us yes multiple times. He added us back on Instagram, which shout out Brian Battle for that. But now these fucking Uzbekistan ass guys are all in his mentions. They're all in his comments. And his shit is absolutely flooded. So he's not seeing anything on Instagram because every fucking thing he posts is a million of their flags. But anyways, let's start with Brian the Butcher. Tough, durable, has the gas tank DS to push a hard pace. He's obviously powerful. He's dangerous in the stand-up. He's dangerous on the ground. Great scrambles. He can win striking exchanges with volume and power, which is something I like about Brian Battle. I will say he has been a slight bit inconsistent. While, yes, he was on a big streak and whatnot, we've also seen a stinker or two out of Brian Battle, and I don't love that. Plus, the fact that this is at 85 versus a gigantic guy in Nursultan Raziboyev, kind of, a little bit of worry there. Nursultan Raziboyev, very unpredictable, awkward striking style DS, great power. He's actually very goddamn well-rounded, really good on the feet, which he's been displaying in the UFC, and his grappling is really, really goddamn good as well, even though we haven't seen too much of that in the promotion. He can overwhelm people early. He does have that little bit of fading late, right? He's a massive guy for the division, so that's to be expected. At this point, DS, what am I going to do? I think there's a lot of value on plus 136 with Nursultan Ruzaboyev. But at the end of the day, I got to stick with our guy, Brian Battle, who we may be interviewing. And not just for that fact. I do think he would win this fight in general. There is just some value on Nursultan Ruzaboyev as an underdog.
Yeah, and I see that value, and that is why I am gonna make my official pick Ruzaboyev. I love Brian Battle. I love the improvements that he's made. I think this is a super close fight, man. I really do. And I think no matter how you slice it, it's just, to me, there's not many times, Brian Battle's fought somebody who's this big, right? So You've got a big size disadvantage. And then also, man, I don't know, in the Randy Brown fight, right? Randy Brown kind of showed you how to beat Brian Battle, right? He was mixing it the fuck up, throwing to the body, those body shots, the hooks to the body. He was throwing up top and then popping shots to the body. So, look, I don't expect Ruzaboyev to do that. Ruzaboyev is a totally different kind of striker. He is not that kind of volume, mix it up striker, and he's not going to use all his limbs. Well, he actually will. He will, because he'll throw some flying knees and shit like that. Like you said, he's very awkward. He'll throw some like lunging jabs and hooks. He'll throw some lunging crosses. To me, it's just like Brian Battle cannot come into this fight with the same game plan that he had in the Randy Brown fight, right? You cannot take that much time to kind of get adjusted and then come in hot late, right? And also, I think Ruzaboyev has more power than Randy Brown. I really do. I don't think we're going to see that much of a speed disadvantage as we saw for Brian Battle in the Randy Brown fight. I really don't. But man, it's like, I don't know. I just think Ruzaboyev has more ways to win this, right? I don't see Brian Battle getting this to the ground. Ruzaboyev, like you said, we haven't really seen the jiu-jitsu too much in the UFC, but he's very dangerous there. He's got a handful of professional victories by submission. To me, the height disadvantage, the reach. Brian Battle's best. I think the most damage that he's going to do in a fight like this is going to be in the clinch, and I just don't see him being able to hold Ruzaboyev in the clinch long enough to do that kind of damage, especially when he's that big, especially when he's that awkward. So I think it's going to be a really, really close fight. I think it's going to be a great fucking fight. I really do. I think it has fight of the night potential. But I think we see Ruzaboyev get a very close, maybe even a split decision in this, his second decision victory in the UFC.
Yeah, the size definitely worries me for Battle here. Ruzaboyev, massive. And while Brian Battle can definitely be a middleweight, I don't know that this is necessarily the weight class for him.
I don't like it, man. Actually, there's two guys on this card. I don't fucking like that they're in this, and they're in the same weight class. I don't like that MVP's in middleweight. Why is he in middleweight? I don't think that's the right weight class for him, and I don't think Brian Battle should be in middleweight. I really don't, man.
DS, I think Brian Battle kind of struggles with the 15-pound weight discrepancy, which we sometimes talk about, right? From 170 to 185. I feel like he's a tweener. He would fit very well at a 175 to like 177. Sure. It's not boxing, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Fit really well in a weight class there. I think maybe slightly undersized for 85. Not even that much, but definitely a little too big for welterweight. I guess he was struggling with that. So we'll see, man. This should be a fun fight.
Yeah, who am I to say? I mean, he knows what's comfortable for him. I'm just speaking purely visually. And I'm not saying he certainly still has good power. It's not about like the skill set, right? To me, it's just about like you come across these fucking guys here, right? Where it's like, how's that going to work out for you? We'll see, I guess. I feel like there's something else I wanted to mention. Oh, another thing that we have to just at least fucking mention, man, is the fact that Ruzaboyev has like 50 pro fights, right? Yeah. So the guy is no stranger to fighting. So just wanted to throw that out there. All right, let's move on to the next fight of the night, which is Edson Barbosa versus Dricus Close. This is another fight that's going to be an absolute banger and another fight that has fight of the night potential, man. I really do believe that. I think what would be best for the UFC, for the promotion, would be if Dricus Close finally kind of fulfilled his potential and got to what we've kind of hoped he would be, right, for years now. Before his last fight, right, his last he won 7 UFC fights. His only loss was to Beneil, right? And that is aged as well as a loss can pretty much age in this weight class, right? So And then Edson Barbosa is still Edson Barbosa, man, right? Look, I know he's 39 years old, but look at the Lerone Murphy fight, right? Like, I think we saw him. Did he look slower to you? Like, did he look
Not much? Yeah.
If it was at all, like, it's not much, man. So maybe the ability to absorb shots and take shots has taken a hit. Look, man, at the end of the day, I think Dricus Close. One thing that I feel like people always forget with him is that he was a college wrestler first and foremost, right? That was his first like combat experience, if you will, right? So I would like to see him go to that because I think that's going to be his best shot to win this fight. He's pretty heavy on that front leg. He tends to chamber as he's throwing those kicks, right? So to me, man, Edson Barbosa, the way I see it playing out, I think he's going to punish that front leg, man. I really do believe he's going to punish that lead leg. I think that's going to be a problem for Close. In a weird way, look, Barbosa still got decent cardio, man. I kind of trust his cardio a little bit more, and that's not me dogging Dricus Close by any chance. I think he's fine in the cardio department. I just think Barbosa still got it, man. And I know there's going to come up, and when it goes quick, right? So, maybe this is that fight. For me, man, I'm going to take Barbosa by decision here. I just, and I know he's a slight favorite, so it's not like I'm going out on some crazy limb. I would like to see Dricus Close win it. I'm going to go Barbosa by decision.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite side of the coin here, DS. I do think Dricus Close is going to win this. I would like to see Edson Barbosa win it, to be honest with you. I'm a big fan of these legends, and Edson Barbosa is a legend, man. He's fought the who's who.
You've always been one who it takes you a little longer to let go than it does.
Right, exactly. But yeah, look, Edson Barbosa, there's not much to say or not much to add on to what you said, right? A legend of the game, great leg kicks, disgusting head kicks, highlight reel, unbelievable. Taking on a guy in Dricus Close who, again, as you mentioned, a guy that never really lived up to that hype. He's just a pressure-heavy fighter, good power, good grappling, good wrestling. Last time out, lost to Joel Alvarez, which...
That's my boy.
That guy's beating everybody. Me too, man. That's an R boy for sure. DS, before that...
I was an early adopter of the Joel Alvarez hype train. I was in early.
You definitely were. But before that point in Dricus Close's career, he'd only lost twice. You mentioned the loss to Beneil Dariush. The other loss, David Tamer. This guy's getting his ass beat by a Syrian, guys, bro. So shout out.
Oh my God, dude. I didn't even think about that. You're right.
Know that's all he's doing, bro. I fancy my chances, cuz is all I'm saying. No, I'm just playing. Look, Dricus Close, I'm picking him, Dino. I think he's going to close the distance on Edson Barbosa, and I know that's going to be tough. He's going to have to walk through the leg kicks to get there, but I think if he can get this fight in a clinch position, or if he can just make it a really sloppy, high-paced, dirty fight, he'll be able to outlast the aging Edson Barbosa. Give me Dricus Close by decision. I'm going to be rooting for Edson Barbosa, so we are completely split on this one.
Yeah, I don't know if I gave you a method. I think it's going to be a decision, too. I don't really see a finish in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I'm excited for this one. I'm also a little nervous for it, but yeah. All right, let's move on to the next fight, which is I lost my place. Chase Hooper. He's taking on Alex Hernandez. I think I know what you're gonna pick here, but how do you see this one going?
Oh, do you, DS? I don't know that you do. Look, Chase Hooper coming into this minus 345, DS. Everything he's done. Moving up to 55 has looked awesome, man. The body is starting to fill out. The frame is starting to fill out. And Chase Hooper is becoming a man in front of our goddamn eyes. I feel like right. He's only, 25 years old at this point? I feel like he's been in the UFC forever. Chase Hooper he might actually be a 55er, man. And he looks like a pretty goddamn good one.
I mean, he's got me convinced.
I'm saying the striking is improving. We know on the ground the dude is a fucking boa constrictor, anaconda, whatever snake you want to pick. Whichever ones are dangerous, he's that one.
I got one that's
and Chase Hooper has looked great. He has taken on the man who notoriously has cost me the most money in this sport, and his name is Alex Hernandez. I've gone to fights. I've paid for flights and hotels and tickets.
For him, that's gay, dude.
No. Let me finish what I'm saying. And me and you have given away a pair of tickets. We've spent thousands and thousands, DS, just to be fans of this goddamn sport. But I feel like the amount of fucking money that Alex Hernandez has cost me, I've never won an Alexander Hernandez bet. Ever. If I pick him,
I think that's one thing we can agree on too. I don't think I have.
It's crazy. I pick him, he loses. I pick against him, he wins. He's really goddamn good, DS, but he's so inconsistent. He's explosive. He's athletic. He has all the tools to be nasty in this sport. And goddamn it, I'm picking him. Give me Alex Hernandez by
Wow.
TKO, DS. I think he hurts Chase Hooper to the body, drops him, and Chase Hooper crumbles. Alex Hernandez plus 275. Make me some of my money back.
Get the fuck out of here. And look, you're a fucking masochist. You're ready to get hurt again type shit. That's crazy, dude. That is so crazy.
I'm
Wow.
dog heavy on this card, by the way, just letting you know.
Yep. I think my shit's freezing, but let me know if it is on your end.
Here and there. You get a little laggy here and there, but we're going to figure this out, guys.
Yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, Hernandez is mid, bro. Hernandez is fucking mid. I think it's time for him to leave the UFC and go do some shit elsewhere. I think he's gonna lose to Chase Hooper. I do. I think he's gonna get submitted. I do. Hernandez is barely beating guys who were on like the Ultimate Fighter, right? So those are kind of to me like entry level guys, right? He should be beating those guys, but he's just simply not. Or if he is, it's not by convincing fashion when he does, and when he doesn't, it's kind of embarrassing. So I think I'm done with him. I'm done with Alex Hernandez. I think he's simply mid. God bless him. Cooper is an ascending fighter, and I never thought we would be at this point, but here we are. I just think his striking has improved, and the jiu-jitsu is really fucking good. Alex Hernandez, one of the dumbest fighters in the UFC. He makes terrible mistakes. Chase Hooper, I just see him being a little bit more composed. Maybe he gets dropped. I could see a world where he gets dropped and Alex Hernandez gets a little bit overzealous and ends up in a dumbass submission. Give me Chase Hooper by second round submission in this one.
Yeah, and the connection to the last fight, we mentioned Drakkar Close losing to Beneil and Tamer. Alex Hernandez famously beat Beneil, and Chase Hooper beat Tamer. So,
okay, all right, that's interesting. Then I guess I didn't really think about that, but
little insight.
Thanks for that. All right, let's move on to the next fight, which is Jessica Andrade. She is taking on Lupi Godinez.
Lupita.
Oh, is this me?
This is you, brother.
Okay, look, man. This is a wild one for me. I'm not gonna lie. This is a wild fucking fight to predict for me because, like, god damn it, dude. Lupi Godinez has been so like she's been weirdly inconsistent, right? Like, why are you getting outstruck by Mackenzie Dern? Okay, like you're about to fight this fucking tank of a little fella, Jessica Andrade. She hits like a goddamn truck. And look, like people talk about it like she's so old because yes, she's taken a lot of damage.
She has 40 fights.
Her Virginia hang like sleeve of wizard. That's fine, bro. That's fine. She still hits like a goddamn truck. She's only 32 years old. So, look, man, on paper, this is one of those on paper fights, right? Where it's like Lupita Godinez should win, right? And she's not training with the Alexa Grasso's team. And, we saw her with the tight guard last time. And, I hope for her sake, she's not coming out there and thinking that she's going to just box with Jessica Andrade. I think that would be a really, really bad mistake on her part. God, dude, I've gone back and forth on this one. I really have. I'm going to go with Jessica Andrade, man. I am. I think she's just going to do it, dude. I think she's just going to. Oh, God, I can't, dude. Like on paper, what I'm trying to say is on paper, Lupita Godinez should win this fight. She's the more well-rounded fighter at this point. Jessica Andrade, as in her late stages of her career, has become a little bit one-dimensional, right? She's just kind of a power puncher, and that's really it. But like Lupita has made some stupid ass mistakes, man. And like again, you're not a boxer, dude. Like why you're getting outstruck by Mackenzie Dern. Obviously, the threat of Jessica Andrade on the ground is nowhere near the threat of Mackenzie Dern. Oh man, I'm gonna go with Jessica Andrade, dude. I am. I just think she's gonna do a little bit more damage. I could see this is such a 50-50 fight for me. So I don't really have a lot more to say besides that. I really don't. I'm curious to see what you're gonna pick. I think you're gonna pick Lupi, but let me know.
You would be wrong, DS. I am also taking Jessica Andrade for the exact goddamn reasons you said. Look, Lupi Godinez, man. Again, on paper, maybe she should win this fight, but maybe not, right? Jessica Andrade, a former champion, better resume than Lupi Godinez. Yes, a lot of losses, but look at the lady she's been fighting. Lupi Godinez, DS, You'd never know which version of her you're getting, man. Her sister is like a high-level wrestler. She's supposed to be this high-level grappler, but she doesn't rely on it sometimes. Last time out, she had to take a shit in the octagon. That was pretty fucking hilarious. If you remember.
Wait, what?
She told her corner, like going into round 3, they're like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "I need to shit bad," or like something like that.
Yeah. Oh,
Straight
that's
to the
right,
corner.
dude.
And she fought the whole round, like basically fucking, what's the
Clenching.
term? Like turtle, what is it?
Yeah, fucking prairie
Like little,
dogging, brother.
yeah, prairie dog, and peeking the little head out over there. So that was wild. But look, I think Jessica Andrade is going to be very aggressive, and I can't trust Lupi Godinez anymore. I'm getting plus money on a former champion, plus money on the girl with more power, more explosiveness in this fight against somebody who cannot stick to a game plan. So give me Jessica Andrade. It may be stupid. I may regret it, but fuck it, that's a my girl. DS, we only get fights in Chicago now once every 5-6 years. I'm gonna be picking the people I like.
Which is bullshit, man. Come on, it's the city of big shoulders, baby. Like, and they used to come here all the time, which is a goddamn shame.
Once a year.
Yeah, once a year they used to come, and I was at all them bitches. So, all right, man. Let's move on to the next fight, and I'm actually, it gets kind of interesting moving forward here. I think, not that it hasn't been. I think these, as far as the early prelims, bro, this has been as good as we can ask for at this stage. So, the next fight on the card is Gerald. We're talking about her prairie dogging. Maybe she didn't shit herself. Maybe it was just a mere shart. So we got Gerald Mearshart. He's taking on Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. That's the shittiest transition that I've ever had on this very show here. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, DS. This is another one that's weird to me, man. Right? Gerald Mearshart and Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. The fight is exactly what we think it is. And I know I broke that down in yesterday's video. If you guys didn't see that, go check it out about the main event, that video. But it holds true here. These guys are exactly who we think they are, right? Gerald Mearshart, we know the deal. Submission machine, man. Long, tricky, on the feet. He's just awkward, not very good, not too much power, just enough defense to stay alive. And then once he gets you to the ground, you are absolutely fucked. He is taking on Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, who is the exact opposite of that. Very good on the feet, good power, good striking. It's clean, it's crisp, he's aggressive, great body shots. And then what happens with him is he fades as the fight goes on. And I don't like that for him, DS. He also gets taken down at will at that point and submitted at that point. And if that's what I'm seeing here, I have to go plus money again. So give me Gerald Mearshart. I think he survives. And then I think he gets a sub on Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. This was a live flip, by the way. When I was doing the quick picks, on my notes till this point, it says Mikhail Oleksiejczuk round 1 KO. I switched up while breaking the fight down, and I'm remaining with that for now. Stay tuned for tomorrow. I might switch again.
And I won't. I'll tell you that right now. I think this is the freest cheese on the entire card. I think Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, it's obviously, at this stage of their careers, he's the better striker. He's got more power. It's just, to me, this is a very simple fight to break down, in my opinion. It's just that he's an absolute zero on the ground. It's just that he's got damn near no takedown defense, and you've got a really, really good submission artist. It's just a terrible matchup. I just don't see. Obviously, he can get a knockout in the first round. Absolutely. I think the longer this fight goes, the better it works out for Mearshart, which is weird because he's the older fighter, right? I think at plus 180, man, I think this is free cheese. Gerald Mearshart by submission.
Yeah, and I'll say this, DS, for what it's worth. Obviously, a lot of Polish people in Chicago, so I expect Oleksiejczuk to have some fans there. But Gerald Mearshart, I believe, is from Milwaukee. I feel like he's going to have a ton of people in the crowd, and mostly the crowd's going to be going for the local guys. So take that into consideration.
You think so?
I do think so.
All righty. Let's move on to the next fight on the card, which is King/Bobby Green. He is taking on Diego Ferreira. Dude, look, is Bobby Green done?
You tell me.
I don't know, man. I think that's what this fight really boils down to, right? Is Bobby Green just simply done? Because, his last couple performances haven't been great, right? He got absolutely knocked the fuck out versus Hoofy, right? Now, they're versus Ian Gary and Mauricio Hufi. So, like, how much can you really take away from him there? Diego Ferreira, look, he knocked the fuck
Did
out
you
of
say
Michael
Ian
Johnson.
Gary?
Huh?
You said Ian Gary and Mauricio Hufi. You meant Patty Pimblett.
Oh, Patty Pimblett. I'm sorry. Yeah, Patty Pimblett. Thank you.
I don't remember that one. Holy shit.
No, Patty Pimblett. Thank you. I apologize. Yes, that's exactly what I meant. Yeah, look, Mateusz Rebecki, is Bobby Green better than him at this stage of their careers?
I don't think so, to be honest.
I don't think so either, man. I don't think so either. I just think that this is one of those fights where I just see Diego with more opportunities to win this fight, right? We've seen Bobby Green have a bit of he's got decent like wrestling overall, right? I'm not saying anything but I think when it comes to the jiu-jitsu, the grinding grappling, plus you add in the power of Diego Ferreira as well, I think he's kind of a threat everywhere, man. Bobby Green, he's a high output, high volume kind of striker who's now getting older, right? He's getting older. He's coming off a couple losses. Yes, it's a step down in competition. I will say that. I don't think it's like a huge step down. I really don't. I'm gonna take Diego here, man. I'm gonna take him by decision. I think it's gonna be I think it has the potential to be a close fight. I could see a world where it's not a close fight if it ends up on the ground, sooner than later. I could see Diego kind of, taking advantage of that. But for now, man, give me a submission victory for Diego in the third round in this one.
Yo, DS, so here's what I'll say about this fight. Carlos Diego Ferreira, a guy that was in the rankings forever, right? Obviously, age has caught up with him as well. He's 40 now, by the way, which is crazy. If you look at all the fights he's lost in this recent last couple years, it's all been to heavy wrestlers, which is crazy because Diego Ferreira was that boogeyman grappler. That was his whole goddamn thing. And he's been doing it with the striking as of late, right? He's been standing, he's been banging with everybody.
We always say the power is the last to go, but it seems like it's not just going. It's gotten better.
Yeah, it's crazy the improvements we've seen in his power. And Bobby Green, we've seen knocked out a couple times lately and a couple times bad, man. But here's what I'll tell you about Bobby Green, DS. Any fight that he's in, when it's on the feet, Bobby Green always looks really goddamn good until he doesn't, right? He's always the faster striker, the flashier striker. He's moving in and out really goddamn well, pumping the jab, nice power shots, and then it seems like a momentary lapse in judgment, and down goes Bobby Green. I won't hold the Mauricio Hufi loss against him because Mauricio Hufi is one of the best prospects in the game and a very massive, explosive kid at 155. It's hard for me to hold the Patty Pimblett loss against him too, man, even though it was a really goddamn dumb approach from Bobby Green in that fight. Patty Pimblett should be beating Bobby Green. Patty Pimblett's a top 5 guy in this division, whether you like it or not at this point. So it's hard to hold those two against them. The way I see this fight playing out, DS, is on the feet. So I can definitely see a Diego Ferreira knockout, but something's telling me Bobby Green is going to stay safe and not get knocked the fuck out this time. So don't tail your boy here. I'm going absolutely crazy on this card. Just absolutely out of my mind, but I'm taking Bobby Green by decision. I think this
I don't fault you, man. I don't fault you.
Yeah.
I really don't. But
yeah,
I don't know. I just can't do it. Coming off 2 bad losses. Had you asked me this even, 2 fights ago, right? I would have given it to Bobby Green fairly comfortably, right? It's just, yeah, I don't know. Again, the question is exactly the main question in this fight is really what I started this off with is Bobby Green done?
Yeah.
So, all right, let's move on to the next fight, which is Tim Elliott. He's taking on Kai Asakura. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, DS, this one's really goddamn interesting to me, man. Kai Asakura, last time out in his UFC debut, comes to the company with a lot of fanfare. If you guys don't know, Kai Asakura, a actual celebrity in his home country of Japan. He's a YouTuber with like 10 million subs, something crazy like that. And on top of being a fighter, he's like on TV over there and shit. Like he is a real person of note in Japan.
Well, fighters are just more respected in Japan. In these Asian countries in general, they're just so much more respected. It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. And it's funny because I saw today on Twitter all the like billboards in Japan that are like advertising the fight. There is not one photo of Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus du Plessis literally the face-off photo is Tim Elliott and Kai Asakura, which is hilarious to me.
Yep.
I absolutely
Yeah.
love that for Tim Elliott.
Good for them.
Yeah, that's huge for him, right? But look, Kai Asakura, my question is really how good is he? Yes, we've seen disgusting knockouts in Ryzen from him, and yes, we were worried for Alexandre Pantoja because Kai Asakura is a very, very dangerous striker, man. Nasty knees, nasty power. He has the ability to put people out cold. My question really comes in and it comes in at this point. It's like, how good is Ryzen? Like, I don't necessarily know. I used to think that Ryzen and Bellator were like just a rung underneath the UFC. And then, one was also like maybe right there with them. Bellator a little, like whatever. I had like this whole ranking system in my head, but it seems like as of these last maybe year and a half or so, I don't know, man. I think it's the UFC, a far distance, one, and then a far distance in everybody else. So I'm not necessarily sold on Kai Asakura besides the fact that he's dangerous. Tim Elliott is going to be better than 95% of Kai Asakura's opponents that he's faced in his career. Tim Elliott, a nasty grappler, just a grindy dog kind of fighter. Absolute nightmare to fight. Nobody wants to fight Tim Elliott because he is going to drain the shit out of you. Anyways, DS, we might be interviewing Tim Elliott, and he's a great dude. We've met him before. I got to pick Kai Asakura, man. Even though I went with all of that, I still think that the power of Kai Asakura is game-changing. I think even if he's losing a fight, he has the ability to turn it around immediately with one shot. So I worry for Tim Elliott, a guy that's kind of sloppy, a grappler that's coming in there recklessly, getting caught by a vicious knee. And that's kind of the way I see it. I'm going to say decision, but I would not be shocked if Kai Asakura gets a knockout. I wouldn't be shocked if Tim Elliott wins.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I do. I could see this going a lot of different ways. Look, man, at these smaller weight classes, we talk about age a lot, right? Tim Elliott, 38 years old, right? Has had some cardio concerns and and now he's even older, right? So, will we see some of those cardio concerns come to fruition? Also, man, like the striking defense hasn't been great at times, right? So you've got an elite sniper kind of striker and somebody who can be very high output at times too. And look, man, I know he got choked out by Pantoja. I don't think he should have gotten that fight off the bat. I understand why they did it. I think we both agree on that. He's not a bad grappler, man. He's not a bad wrestler, right? Like as far as the fighters from Asia go like this, right? Like he's better than a lot of them, right? So I don't think he's a complete nothing on in the wrestling and on the ground. I think Tim Elliott's going to have to use a lot of feints, man. I think obviously he's going to have to go for the takedown. He's going to have to try to grind this out, make it dirty, and just kind of hold Kai down, land some elbows, land some shots. I'm just worried about the counter striking, right? Like, I know Elliott's going to try to shoot in. Kai Asakura knows that, man, right? He's a very good counter striker. My only question is decision or KO. I think I'm going to go decision as well. I would not be shocked if it was by KO, though.
Yeah, you know what fight I really want to see, DS? And if Kai Asakura wins this fight, I think it's a possibility in the near future, would be a Kai Asakura Tatsuro Taira main event of a fight night. That'd be massive for the Japanese MMA scene. And I think that's a really goddamn interesting clash of styles, a relentless grappler versus a super dangerous striker. And I think really highly of Tatsuro Taira. I would pick him to beat Kai Asakura, but I'd be interested in seeing that fight. And I think it would open a lot of doors and bring a lot of eyes onto the UFC in Asia and specifically in Japan.
I wonder if they would like that or if they would dislike that.
That's kind of where my mind was. Like, do you want to kill one of them off kind of thing? But yeah.
All right, man, let's move on. And then obviously this fight, I really am curious to see what you have to say about this one. It's Jared Cannonier. He's taking on Michael Venom Page. I kind of touched on it earlier, man. I don't love the weight class for MVP. I really don't. And am I freezing here?
Yeah, you're lagging.
Okay. Can you hear me normally or?
Oh yeah, you sound phenomenal, brother.
Okay.
And you look good too. You're just laggy.
Okay. I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah.
Look, man, I'm going to go with Michael Venom Page here. I am. I just think that he's too dynamic. He's too explosive. We don't have a lot of guys at 185, right? He's like Adesanya is like who we have who's got a similar style, right? Like I think he's one of the guys who's come from these other promotions who's actually pretty good. Again, this is a guy that I wish was here much sooner. I really do, and we talk about that a lot. He's kind of in the twilight of his career, if you will, and so is Jared Cannonier, man. It's an interesting matchup, though, man. It really is. Like Jared Cannonier, he's got kind of a low percentage landed in terms of the striking, but he's got a good power. He's got a lot of good power, right? Obviously, in my opinion, his best bet is probably to try to take MVP down and work him on the ground. I just don't really see that happening. I think we're just going to see Jared Cannonier kind of plod forward and MVP just kind of pick him apart from distance, man. I really do. So I'm going to take Michael Venom Page by decision in this one. Is it like a super high confidence pick? I wouldn't say so, man. I wouldn't say so. I can absolutely see a world where Jared Cannonier wins. Don't get it twisted, man. Jared Cannonier is still tough as shit and still can get it done with the best of them. I don't love the weight class for MVP. I still think he has the ability to win this fight.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, DS. The only thing I could say about Jared Cannonier at this point, I mean, I love Jared Cannonier. I think he's been great for the promotion. The fact that he's went from heavyweight to 205 to 85, he's fought for the title at 85. He's been a high-end, high-level gatekeeper of the division on top of being a title contender. Jared Cannonier is awesome, but he is getting on in age. And while so is Michael Venom Page, Michael Venom Page is still ridiculously fast, whereas Jared Cannonier kind of slow, to be honest with you. And when
he is slow. That's what I meant by plotting, man. He's definitely slow, dude.
He's slow, and the way I see it is MVP is just going to do MVP things in this fight. I don't think he finishes Jared Cannonier. I think he just kind of touches him up and outlands him and does that for 3 rounds by being the faster fighter. Jared Cannonier is going to struggle to get, to touch MVP. And I think Jared Cannonier might get frustrated. And once MVP senses his opponent is frustrated, that's when all that showboating comes out and the dancing and the little in and out movement. He covers so much goddamn ground, DS, with that little side shuffle, that karate kind of step in and step out.
I was just going to say that, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's just, man, he is a treat to watch. If you are a striking fan, MVP a treat to watch. And I like what you said, and we said it when the UFC brought him over. Unfortunate, because way too late in this guy's career, he's never going to be a champion in this promotion. He's never going to fight for a title in this promotion, whereas he was those things in Bellator. And I do think his grappling game has holes in it, but he's tough to take down, man. So it would have been interesting to see MVP develop in the UFC and where he could have gotten what his ceiling was. But I think he wins this fight by decision. I'm pretty goddamn confident in this one. I'm very confident in this fight and the next 2, to be honest with you. So give me MVP by decision. And I just think he's too fast for Jared Cannonier.
Yep, I agree, man. I agree. And I'm sorry I'm so laggy. I don't really know what to make of it, but it is what it is. As long as you can hear me, I guess that's what matters. All right, let's move on to the next fight, which is a very interesting one. Jeff Neal, he's taking on Carlos Prates. Dino, very curious to hear what you have to say about this one. And you said you're confident. Who are you confident in?
I'm confident in Carlos Prates, man. I know last time out, DS, it was kind of a disappointing performance. Got outclassed by Ian Gary, man. Absolutely outclassed. I know there was a moment at the end of that fight where it looked like Prates might have clipped Gary.
Too little, too late.
Right. Which there's people are arguing different things. Some people say he had Gary out of there, basically. Other people say that the shot actually missed if you watch like really close on replay. Whatever it was like a good moment. In the moment, it felt like Carlos Prates was nearing a finish. DS, let's not take anything away from Ian Gary, man. That guy is absolutely disgusting. He belongs where he is. He is at the top of this division for a reason. Ian Gary's a hell of a fighter. And Carlos Prates got thrown into the deep end, man, and deservedly so. The way he was putting people out, Carlos Prates is fast. He's athletic, and the power seems different, man. It seems very different for what it looks like, right? We see him graze Neil Magny and put him out cold. He is hurting people when he touches them clean. And then we have Jeff Neal, a very responsible striker, very responsible boxer. Jeff Neal, a lot of power in his hands. He's been there, done that. fought against some of the best guys in the world, sometimes multiple times. It's just at this point in their careers, how dedicated is Jeff Neal versus how dedicated is Carlos Prates? I don't know how dedicated Jeff Neal is. This might be really stupid, but if you watched Embedded, you saw him have like a guy drive up. There was like a drive up gym that he was working out at. And I'm like, dude, like, you're a professional fighter. Your wife was a Muay Thai fighter. You don't have a home gym. You have somebody drive out to you with like a makeshift gym in a fucking van. I don't know.
Right.
That maybe I'm nitpicky and that's something really stupid, and maybe there's a reason for it. Maybe it's a new house, maybe whatever. Regardless, I didn't love that. And I think Carlos Prates is hungry, DS. I think these fighting nerds guys really think that they could do something special in this promotion, and their time is right goddamn now. I'm going Carlos Prates. I think he pushes the pace. He's too fast for Jeff Neal, and he wins a decision unanimously.
Crazy that you think it's going to go to decision. I don't really see a decision here, man. I don't know. You're right, because Jeff Neal is tough as shit. One thing I want to mention too, Jeff Neal is a southpaw, right? I think that might pose some interesting issues for Carlos Prates too. One thing I don't love too, I just want to say I agree with you. I think Carlos Prates is going to win this fight. He's got a 3-inch reach advantage. He's explosive. He is a sniper. He's like the definition of a sniper, right? But it's almost like he's so accurate and he can hit you on such pinpoint accuracy that like he doesn't have as much output. So I see a world where Jeff Neal, who is much more the veteran, right? And I know Prates has had a lot of fights too, but I could see a world where Prates is just not as active, right? And is just the output is not as high, right? And Jeff Neal is kind of outpointing him, right? And if it goes to decision, I see a world where that's certainly possible. So I hope that's not the case, right? I think for the UFC, the best thing to happen here would be if Prates obviously wins this fight. I also don't love that he keeps his guard so low, right? Like that counter left hand from Jeff Neal is something special. He's got a ton of power in it. So Prates does have to be careful with that. But overall, I just think he's going to be able to maintain that distance. He's going to be able to land more shots. I can see it being a close fight, though, man. I'm going to go with Prates by decision, but I think it's going to be close.
Yeah, and I'll say this, DS, when we at the Fighter Hotel tomorrow, if we do end up meeting up with Carlos Prates and running into the team, it'd be hilarious if you could smoke a cigarette with him, is all I'm saying.
Oh, we have to.
Take a couple shots, smoke a 1 or 2 cigarettes.
I'll give him a Marlboro Menthol, brother.
Let's go. That's our goal for tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Moving on to the co-main event of the evening, which is Lerone Murphy. He's taking on Aaron Pico, coming in highly touted, obviously. We're going to find out what Aaron Pico really is, right? Is he he was kind of a prodigy, right? Like he was like the prodigy outside of the UFC, right? Amateur wrestling, junior world champion in freestyle wrestling, multiple time US national champ. And not just that, like usually like guys that are that young that are coming in like that are inexperienced, right? Like they're not also Golden Gloves champions, which he is, right? So, and then on top of that, like, you've seen him put people out cold, right? He is an unbelievable striker. He's unbelievably well-rounded. His ground and pound is vicious. He's had some injuries, right? He's kind of been plagued by some weird injuries in his career, which is unfortunate. This is going to be a huge we've seen a lot of these fights recently, right? A lot of these guys from different promotions, Kayla Harrison included, making their way to the UFC and to different levels of success. Lerone Murphy, man, he's undefeated. He's consistent as shit. He's got he's got a really good striking defense. He's unbelievable on the feet. We saw him last time out versus Barbosa, I believe it was, right? Edson Barbosa. Was that his last fight?
I think it was the one before. Yeah.
The one before. Yeah. Okay. That's right. His last fight was versus Josh Emmett. No, I'm sorry. That was 2 fights. He fought Dan Ige too. Like, dude, he's beating the top of the top of this division. So I am going to go with Lerone Murphy, man. I think we're going to see Aaron Pico get a little bit fraud checked, right? Like, I know he's got a lot of raw power. I just think this is going to be kind of a levels to this shit fight, right? I really do. I think that Lerone, I don't see this going to the ground really. First of all, I know Aaron Pico is a good wrestler and all that. I just personally don't see this fight going to the ground. I think he's gonna get his ass kicked on the feet. I really do. I just think that Lerone Murphy is gonna mix it up. I think his athleticism is gonna be a little bit better than Aaron Pico's. Um, yeah, ultimately, man, this has been one I've gone back and forth on, right? Both these guys are really athletic. We've seen Aaron Pico be a little bit chinny at times, man. Like his early career losses were pretty much all by knockout. I think he's kind of a kill or be killed kind of guy if you look at it, right? I think we at times he can overextend. He's kind of chasing finishes, leaves him open to some counters and things like that. And I think Lerone Murphy is just a bad guy to leave yourself open against in that regard. He does have a very strong clinch game. I think Lerone Murphy could suffer in that way a little bit. I do appreciate the pressure of Aaron Pico. I just think ultimately this fight's going to play out on the feet, and I just see Lerone Murphy being a little bit better.
Yeah, look, DS, when it comes to Aaron Pico's wrestling, man, very, very high level. Not many in MMA, let alone the UFC, could really compare to what Aaron Pico has done in wrestling. He was at the Olympic trials. He was one match away from actually being an Olympian, which is absolutely nuts. Like you said, he comes in as a prodigy, and yes, he loses his first fight of his career at Bellator, but that's okay. The guy's learning the sport on the fly. Then he goes on an absolute tear with some highlight reel knockouts, man. One of the most impressive highlight reels you're going to watch. I mean, we talked about MVP earlier. If we're talking highlight reels outside the UFC, I think it's MVP 1, and Aaron Pico might be number 2. Some filthy, filthy knockouts. Yes, the power is absolutely crazy when this guy swings. He winds up and he throws massive, and he is fast as well, man. He's taken on Lerone Murphy, who for what it's worth, as frustrated as we've been with Lerone Murphy for a lot of things, for the inactivity, for, when he was just fighting in England and whatever the case is, Lerone Murphy should have been at this point in his career further up than he is right now. And I guess he's 1 or 2 fights away from a title at this point. But that was kind of the thing that always frustrated us about Lerone Murphy. But he's good, man. He's technically solid on the feet, DS, and he's very, very defensively responsible. That's a nice way to say, like, he avoids fucking damage and conflict at all costs. But the guy knows how to pick his shots and get the hell out of the way. And there's something to be said about that, right? Aaron Pico coming in here, DS, at minus 185 is bananas to me. We've seen what's been going on with Patricio Pitbull coming over from Bellator and Patchy Mix coming over from Bellator. And I know Patricio's...
I think a lot of that, I thought about a lot of that for sure. And that's definitely part of why I'm picking Lerone Murphy.
Right. Me too. And I guess foreshadowing here, I'm picking Lerone Murphy as well. And that's part of the reason. But I'll tell you another thing to just dig a little deeper on that. I think Patchy Mix was better than Aaron Pico. I think Patricio Pitbull, I know at his peak he was better than Aaron Pico. Patricio obviously kind of older, so he's on the decline right now. But this is the guy I trust the least of those 3. You know what I mean? And while Lerone Murphy may not be the best opponent that those 3 guys have faced, he might be. He might be at this point, DS. He's undefeated. So I think Lerone Murphy does exactly what we expect him to do, and that's just be sharper on the feet, be super goddamn responsible defensively, avoid the big shots. Aaron Pico needs to wrestle to win this fight, or I guess just land the one nuclear shot. I just don't see it happening, man. I'm going Lerone the Miracle by decision.
I love it, man. I respect it. It's fucking pissing me off how I keep freezing, by the way. So yeah, it's very much bothering me. Not much I can do about it, but you can hear me, right?
Amazingly.
Well, at least that. All right, man, let's move on to the main event. I know you've already put out a whole video about it. We don't have to go too far deep into this. How do you see the main event going?
Yeah, as you mentioned, DS, I did just drop a video. The link will be in the description. And that video wasn't giving my prediction. That video was more along the lines of, I think the MMA community as a whole has this fight right. I think they've broken it down correctly. And it's damn near 50-50. Half the people are picking Dricus, half the people are picking Khamzat. And you're right. And I get it. And I'm going to explain why. DS, this fight is exactly what we think it is. It is going to be Khamzat Chimaev early, or it is going to be Dricus du Plessis late. There's no other way it goes, right? If Khamzat comes out and he does what Khamzat does, he can very easily find a first round finish. I don't think anybody's doubting that. If he gets Dricus down and he gets his back, Dricus is in trouble. And DS, Khamzat Chimaev, there's only two outcomes to his fights. It's a first round finish, early second round finish, or an all out war where he looks exhausted late. Now, I know we may be looking too much into that, but his cardio has to be questioned. We have to question things at this point, and that's the big question mark. And I guess we ask it every goddamn time Khamzat Chimaev fights. What if his opponent survives the first round? Most of the time they don't, but when they have, DS, we've seen Khamzat look a lot more human. I think he is the greatest first round fighter I've ever seen in my life in this sport, but that quickly fades to where round 3, he's no longer a 15 out of 10 or a 17 out of 10 fighter. He becomes a 5 out of 10, just an average fighter in those rounds, DS. Let's look at the Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns fights. Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman, very different fighters than Dricus du Plessis, very different fighters than each other. But what made them survive? Well, with Gilbert Burns, he's a world champion jiu-jitsu practitioner. So he was able to survive Khamzat Chimaev's onslaught on
And he
the
throws
ground.
bombs.
Right. But I'm talking about that initial grappling because Khamzat shot on him immediately. Burns has done so much jiu-jitsu in his life. You're not subbing Gilbert Burns. That's just not how this goes down. When it comes to Kamaru Usman, that was a 10-8 round for Khamzat Chimaev in round 1. He got him down and got the back immediately. But Usman, a great wrestler in his own right.
Usman a weight class up, too.
Usman a weight class up on short notice, DS, which we do have to take into consideration here. But a great wrestler, a guy that's been in these positions. He's drilled these positions his whole goddamn career. He was able to survive that. And then as we move on, you look at round 2 and round 3, Khamzat Chimaev is not the same fighter, DS. He is significantly worse. Dricus du Plessis, compared to those guys, he's much bigger than both of those guys. I think he's much more explosive than both of those guys, especially at this point in his career. And Dricus du Plessis has been on a goddamn tear. The storyline with him was, how the hell does he keep winning these fights? I don't know, but he keeps goddamn winning these fights to the point where experts and analysts were like, we're not even going to break this guy down anymore. He's awkward. He's goofy. I have to pick him. I don't know why I'm picking him, but I have to pick him. Has become the Dricus du Plessis story. This fight is 50-50, DS. If it gets past round 2, I do believe Dricus gets a finish. If it doesn't, it means that Khamzat has already finished Dricus du Plessis. That's the way I see it. I don't see a decision in any world. That being said, I got to trust Khamzat Chimaev. I'm going Khamzat Chimaev round 1 submission, DS. I think he does what he does. With that being said, I would love to see this fight go into the 3rd and 4th rounds, not for the fact that I want Khamzat to lose, but I want to find out. As an MMA fan, I need to know about this guy. What do you look like in those championship rounds? Remember, even Khabib has said that Khamzat should strike early in this fight and not grapple because he's worried about the cardio. So give me Khamzat. I just hope we get to rounds 3 and 4.
Yeah, look, man, you pretty much said it all. I don't really have anything to add in terms of a breakdown. There's nothing new I'm going to tell you. I don't know any special insight into this fight, right? We know exactly who these guys are. This is like one of maybe 2 or 3 most interesting, like the most interesting fights that you could possibly make, right? And I'm just glad we get to see it in person. I'm very excited for that. I don't know, man. Like for me, there's something that's telling me to pick Dricus. I think for sure Khamzat's going to get him down. I think he's going to get him down multiple times in the first round. I just don't think he's going to be able to finish him. I think Dricus is underrated on the ground. I think he's underrated in the wrestling. I think he's underrated in terms of strength. I think we're going to be close to it. I think there's going to be points in the late first round where it's like, oh shit, he's landing shots. Oh, he's going for a submission. He's got a cranking. Like, I think there's going to be times where Khamzat's going to be damn near close to a finish. And I think he's going to overexert himself. And dude, you're going to think I'm crazy. I see a world where it's possible where we see a Dricus by decision win, and the rounds 4 and 5 are just terrible. Like, they're fucking dead, just like leaning on each other. Give me Dricus. I'm not sure by what method, by just some goofy ass shit.
A fucking anvil falling from the sky.
Yeah, literally, just like some goofy ass shit. I don't know. Give me Dricus though. I can't really pinpoint what it is. I have no fancy breakdown for this one. I something in me is just telling me to pick Dricus.
I'll say this, DS. Look, Dricus du Plessis is so goddamn big and thick-bodied. We've seen him fight live twice. We're going to see him fight live a third time. We've seen Dricus in person, and we've talked to him and whatever. The dude is fucking massive. And I know Khamzat Chimaev is longer. He's taller. But he's a lot skinnier than Dricus du Plessis. That dude is fucking made of stone or wood or some kind of fucking natural material. And he's a dog for what it's worth. He gets tired himself, but that guy will fucking push through, DS. So that's why I really just want to see those rounds. But we are split here. That fight is going to be nerve-wracking, heart fucking beating out of our chests. Then afterwards, we're going to go have a couple drinks with the boys.
Period. That's all I got for you, man. I'm excited for it. Can't wait for it. I'm also just very fucking annoyed by looking at myself glitching on the screen. So I'll just let you take us out at this point.
Yeah, we're going to have to fix that before we do this the next time, DS. But if you guys enjoyed, do us a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. Like right now, the thing at the bottom says we are going to be dropping more content this week. The betting video with Harry. We're going to do some shit with Dana Black. And then you can also follow us on Instagram, where you will see photos with us and the fighters of this week. We're going to be at the press conference. We're going to be at the weigh-ins. We're going to be at the meet and greets. All that. Stay tuned. A lot of fucking content coming up. That right there is my glitchy friend. We call him DS, and my name is Dino Bam Bam. This was the 10-7 MMA. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.